Arena cutoffs are a bit odd currently. Shocking behaviour as the gifting event draws to a close, and Kabam sort of answer the criticisms on the nerf rumours. Yes, hello everybody and welcome to your 30th of December edition of Marvel Contest of Champions News, which will probably be the last one of the year, apart from a recap video of the year, which I'll look over a lot of stories from this year, whether or not Kabam have made any changes, and just kind of highlight a few ones that I think are quite notable. Before getting to the news today, I just want to give a massive thanks to everybody that's come across and supported the second channel, which is where I'm doing a lot of my live streams and also random games that will be going into 2020. So if you're not already subscribed, please go over. This is a better way to get you notified when I'm live streaming Marvel Contest of Champions as well. Espresso. But let's get into the news. Our first story begins with upcoming basic arenas. So if you're interested in when the champions are going in next in the basics, this is a good opportunity to read this up here. As you can see, we got Stealthy coming in early Jan. We've then followed up with, well, a couple of associated with Spider-Verse type champions, which again is quite cool to have that tie-in. But then it's going to more stronger champions like Iceman, like Sunspot, lowering it down with Cable, bringing it up again with Warlock, etc, etc. And now on to Prestige. So as you can see here, this is the Prestige listed out with the top dogs and top ladies in the whole kind of prestige type aspect. As for normal, we've had Namor, we've had Thor, we have all the usual suspects that are up at the top. And obviously joined by Silver Surfer, Doctor Doom, and so many others. It does mean that if you're going to be ranking up champions in whole kind of thing about boosting your own prestige, this may be the reason. But obviously thank God that most of those that are on the top 10 are actually solid champions. So rank ups seem to be a good idea along with this list. In other news, and let's talk about Arena. Another basic, obviously for Green Goblin was going to go low. Very good that it went for about 1.758 was enough to get yourself the rank. Now, there's been a few things that have been very different from the last one, which went a lot higher. The 2015 one went a lot higher. Obviously, massive thanks to Jam for sending this through. Now, I haven't seen any kind of like Squiffy Arena bot names so far, but it doesn't mean to say they're not or are present in the list on the leaderboard. However, though, it's kind of weird that the 2016 arena went for 23 mil. Obviously, I've seen something that's a lot less than 23 mil, but it kind of went similar to how it was with the 2014, which I did find a little bit weird. Unfortunately, Kabam haven't announced which are going to be the 2017 or 2018 arena start and end points, but we all know that it's going to be today at 6 PM GMT time, 10 PST time. So that's when the next arena is going to drop. Is 2017 going to be as popular as 2015 was? Who knows? Could it drop similar to 23 mil as it did last time with the 2016 arena? Quite possibly. And what will be the basics? Still yet to find out. If I get time or there's some more news that breaks in the community, I'll do another Marvel Contest of Champions news later today to give you a little bit of an idea of prediction. On to other news, and as you know, this situation around the nerfing or champion changes has got us all a bit kind of crazy, and especially based on seeing this on the 18th of December compared with what we saw close to, well, a couple of days ago, is very, very different. Back on Friday's news, we reported on the fact that even though Kabam made that statement on what seems to be the Western side of things, the Chinese version or the Chinese forum said very differently. And whether or not these are both treated as separate games or same or whatever, the fact is it did kind of ruffle some jimmies. Apparently I've seen no denying or kind of mentioning or clarifying the Chinese side of things, of whether or not both games are different or they're the same, like a Western version and say an Asian version, but so far that's not been the case. So let's just say that is let's case they announced something before announcing it to everyone else. That's the problem that I had in a previous video. But there's been this that's been said by Kabam Porthos, which says, as we stated in this announcement, we've delayed the process of updating any recently released champion until February 2020. Any changes we're considering of making from that point onward will be small ones, which won't affect the champion's abilities or desirability in the contest. No champion will be buffed and no champion will be nerfed, as those terms imply a much larger change that we're planning for any champion we review or alter during this process. With that being said, any changes we do plan to implement in the future will be shared with you all in advance, in addition to the data which is influencing those changes and our decisions, as you can understand why we feel such changes are required. As we also mentioned in the announcement linked above, we'll have more information to share with you in January. I think it just boils down to communication at the end of the day, and we did talk about that in this video and in the last video as well. The fact is, if one pocket of the community knows something that the rest does not, and maybe that's the thing, maybe that was a typo, that it was meant to be a case that that champion wasn't actually meant to be put in at all, but for whatever reason they left that in the Chinese version that went out to let people know. And I mean the Chinese version of the forum post, the release notes post, and it was a case that that was meant to only go in next month when they had the full scheme of details. So, you know, this could be a mistake on their behalf by not putting in the, well, kind of like not removing it. But still, it would be good to kind of like, you know, what's on the chopping block, what's next. Also, terminology with this being saying like, well, what we'd refer to as champions being nerfed or buffed, the way that Kabam referred to it as being balanced. Balanced to the positive of the champion and balanced to a negative of the champion. Either way, I think for a lot of us now, we just need to see what the changes to the champions like Namor, like Cull Obsidian is going to happen, and also how much more desirable Annihilus, Human Torch and Ebony Maw are going to be in the future. But obviously thoughts on this subject in the comment section down below, whether or not you feel that, you know, you're still a bit worried about this, whether or not you kind of have validation and clarification from Kabam and feel fine about the situation, put it down in the comment section down below. Next up, and if you're looking to follow the story side of things, iLackSkills has got you covered. If you go to the link in the description down below, it takes you to a video where he's put together a lot of the dialogue that takes place. Obviously he reads it through, so if you're on a card journey, you want to play the game, but also you want to listen and kind of like feel the story as you go on and progress through the monthly events. And also he started doing Act 6, then go and check out the link in the description down below. There's a playlist for this. So yeah, pretty good. I wanted to do this myself, but it's incredibly time consuming to gather all the bits of information and as well play out the game as quickly as possible. And now on to our final story, and that is the gifting event. The good, the bad, and the ugly side of things. Unfortunately, it's a case with this year in, year out. And obviously I've been playing now, I've been doing 3 gifting events, maybe 4. I can't really remember when it started off, but if it started in the first year, then that would have been 2015 December. And now this will probably be the 4th year if that was the case. I just can't remember back that far. But the fact is, it's been this year, I think, that's brought out the worst. And really is a big call, I think, for this event to be looked at, as there's just been some stuff going on, which let's face it, a lot of players are kind of either feeling they're getting scammed, or there's been decisions being made that not everyone's been happy with. But I'm sure there's other just reasons for this, I hope. And I'm going to kick things off by talking about like this. This basically is a good kind of shout for people that are getting scammed, and there are people for the gifting event that are getting scammed. For those that maybe trade to one but don't get the same back. And that's the thing, you have to trust whoever you're trading with that they will be reciprocating what you're asking for. And I think it's always best to find people that you know on your friends list that you trust, or you've known them for years, or your alliance mates or alliance members that you trust, that you can then trade off those units. Obviously this now leads me on to this situation to talk about. Now before, as you know, this was very hotly kind of contested with the whole kind of gifting event side of things. And I'm not going to go too much into like, okay, this alliance has this point, this alliance has this point. I'm just going to like merely focus on the facts of what I know from the outside. So as you can see here, this is Asgard, the alliance, and they've kicked a load of people. Obviously, if you're familiar with a lot of stuff that Malador has been putting out, the fact of like content-wise, it's been very much talking about this situation, the competition between MMX, you know, just all this kind of really competitive stuff with the gifting event. And as you know, people are being kicked from that alliance, but reasoning out to the community is, well, they don't really have to give reasoning to it, but for a lot of players, it started off as a couple of people seeing screenshots, and then it became wider knowledge. And this video that Maladar is doing at the moment is very much kind of like tongue-in-cheek and kind of joking about the situation. There's an internal joke about Pep, whether or not Pep's being kicked and stuff like that. Now I thought I'd go over to the Allfather's Twitter, who is the leader of Asgard, and he basically says that Kevin was kicked because I found out via proof that he leaked MMX score last year, obviously for dollars. He was doing merc work on the account in MMX. God, everything's very strange. When I tested him to see if he would leak again, he claimed to not be a dirty merc. That sealed the deal, and obviously he's been kind of kicked. But there's more things. There's a lot of cryptic stuff. Obviously, we've seen Maladar's kind of cryptic video, and then they're saying checkmate. There's also this thing here. To dearest friend, 10.1 mil gets a nice consolation prize. How's that leak working for you now? Which is Jess there, by the way. God, there does seem to be like a few kind of cryptic things, even that. Using all the muscles except that one that counts. Huh, buddy, shouldn't you go back to... Oh, okay, I'm not going to say that out. But yeah, it's like this current move that... There's so many cryptic things going on, and I can imagine this is just boils into this whole kind of super competitive gifting event. I think my final takeaway from this event is that it has brought the worst out in people. There's a little bit of kind of like toxic behavior with it, and it's like it does go back to Kabam making a decision on this event. Obviously, it was up to them to make a decision whether or not they went, right, we're gonna run this event. But at the same time, it's a case of going financially, is it financially viable for them not to run the event? And that's another decision as well. Next year, they will have to look at it, yes, as a business, how do we make money? But also at the same time, how do we make sure that players aren't scammed when they're doing transactions, are able to have a good time at a festive period, but at the same time, whether or not the gifting event is a good thing to run in the future, and whether or not rank rewards are going to bring out again the best or worst out of people. So would they run them again in 2020? But anyway, have your thoughts in the comment section down below. It's not really something I really wanted to cover with drama aspect, but the fact is it's something that's quite important to people at the moment. And also for Kabam's perspective, you do need to look at this next year, because it just gets a little bit out of hand, and especially, like I said, with the scamming side of things, and not to mention this whole kind of like rank competition, which yes, you're making major dollar, but at the same time, it does bring out like a toxic side of things with the community. Either way, like I said, thoughts in the comment section down below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Check out some other content here and here. I'll probably put up here an amazing crystal opening that M did on her account, but can't give me any decent 6 stars. In any case, check out some other content which will be there. And I've still got about 4 to 5 more videos to post before the end of the year, from news of the year, from worst crystal openings, which, let's face it, is mainly all of them, and the best crystal openings, which there have been some good crystal openings, by the way. In any case, thanks very much for watching. Check here in the next video. Bye-bye for now.